Ooh. Hi, everyone. I am Tara, aka Spirit Mother, and I'd like to welcome you all back to my channel on YouTube. I'm Spirit to Spirit Teaches on Self. On TikTok, I teach on Soul, and I'm also live on Facebook. Some of you are from the channel, and some of you are not. I always suggest when you're new to my channel, especially if I'm doing lives, to go in and read the description on the YouTube channel, Spirit to Spirit, teaches of going within self in order to get a better understanding of my channel. Today, I'm talking about taking a stand on terrorism. There's a lot of that happening right now, and we're told that if we do something that affects the government or the queen or what have you, that we are terrorists. Okay? So we're terrorists if we take a stand. And what it is evidence, criminal code. Okay? And I'm going to read about in the criminal code about terrorism. Before I get started, I'm going to actually read the description on my YouTube channel. I'm Tara, aka Spirit Mother, and I'm here to wake people up to see how we've been treating each other and our earth. I'm a unique type of spirit guide. I'm a psychic, a medium, a channeler, a telepath, and an empath. I also speak in sign different languages, all of which can be very intense at times. As people who are familiar with my channel see that and know that. I don't tell people's fortune. I ask you questions to get you to figure it out yourself. On my channel, I talk about everyday life, the ignorance, greed, the hatred, etc. I do it to get people to look within themselves and how we have been acting in life towards ourselves and others, including animals. Some people may not like what I have to say, whereas others may totally understand. Sometimes I may come off not a very spiritual person. However, I ask you to look within and see what spirituality really means. It is enlightenment, waking up to the truth, the good, bad, and the ugly stuff that we don't like to see about ourselves, about the world, and others. Sometimes we need a little tough love to be able to look within ourselves. Okay? My channel is not for lighthearted people. Okay, I will be honest. It is not for lighthearted people because I can get very assertive. I'll make you cry, I'll make you laugh, I'll push you off. Someone will, like, you'll want to throw attacks at me or smack me, what have you. But that's fine. Some hate me, some love me, some like me, some loathe me. But I didn't come here to be liked or loved or anything like that. I came here with a purpose. Okay, my experiences throughout my life is my purpose. Okay, because if I can share my story and help others to understand themselves and that yes, we have these things, but it's a part of going in through. And it's not about letting somebody push like bullying. Okay? People say, "Oh well, just meditate on it." Well, meditating doesn't always work. You can meditate as much as you want, but it's not going to meditate a bully away. Okay, the way to dealing with the bully is everybody coming together and standing up. And this is the part of terrorism because a bully is a terrorizer. They terrorize other people, but it started from somewhere. Okay, so that's why, like, I know the election in the States just happened. I don't follow it or what have you, but I know that there's been a lot of stuff being said of everything like that, like people posting stuff on TikTok with regards to the Simpsons telling about the future and what have you. Okay, it's a part, we're our own self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, it's the power of suggestion. Porque podría, podrían, right now there's a lot of stuff going on, like in Canada, back when COVID hit or what have you, and vaccines and stuff like that, and people don't like this stuff. Well, then my channel's not for you. Okay, not being rude, but I said my channel's not for the lighthearted. Okay, um, there was a lot happening during the vaccines and mandates and what have you, and they had the truckers going, and a lot of people joining the truckers at the Capitol, wherever it was. And a lot of them were shut down. Okay. And I see a lot of people posting about what's happening right now. Like um, it's the cowards are the ones that are supposed to be the ones to stop it, but they're actually the ones creating terrorism. Okay? I'm going to read a thing with regards to terrorism. But first off, I'm going to read financing of terrorism, providing or collecting property for certain activities. Okay, right now, there's, from what I'm seeing, I'm not there, so I don't know exactly what's going on. And sometimes, like what I'm shown, I don't really believe it in some ways because I have trouble trusting. Okay, and what's happening because there's elections coming up in Canada. Am I correct? Like next year is elections. And how many of you knew that, like, if we're in a war or approaching a war or anything like that, they try to push it, okay? They try to keep an election from happening, okay? And that's what's taking place right now. I was watching a thing where it was saying that one of the NDP leaders was trying to have it pushed further, okay? That's abuse of power, okay? And right now, there's a lot of fear tactics being pushed on the people. So that to me is terrorism, right? You're terrorizing your own people because they don't want to be pushed out. So they're creating a war. And it's a war on the people. It's not that it's not like people say, like it's the country, they're fighting against each other. Like, the states in Canada, from what I read, they've been fighting against each other for a very long time. Like you see Trump and Trudeau. Trump don't like Trudeau, can't blame him. And Trudeau don't like Trump. It's like, they're fighting against each other. Okay. And what's happening is the people are in the middle of it. That's why I say, like, when you play a game of chess, when you play chess, okay, who do they put in the forefront? They put the pawns, right? They put the people, okay? But the people aren't so much equipped, like they're taught to be like violent, okay? Now, you look at the back of the chessboard, okay? The ones in power, they have the pawns protecting them. So to me, I'm going to say it. The ones that, like, when they have the pawns protecting them, they're the fucking cowards. Dice la esposa de, it's true. Like, the knights are supposed to be out there, and they say, well, they do. Okay, I'm going to say the Queen knighted Elton John for singing in front of her. To me, a knight is someone who puts their life on the line for people. That is a knight to me. Okay. Providing, making available, etc., property or services for terrorist purposes. Okay, your government's giving away a lot of money, and people say it's you're funding. They're funding wars. That's what it is. They're funding it. They're not helping. They're funding it. As long as you keep funding a war, the war is going to continue to go on. And if people don't believe that, well, this is the part of taking a stand on terrorism, because that is terrorism, and it's creating a lot of terrorism on the people. Right now, unless a government official shows me that they're going to put their money where their words are, and they're actually going to do for the people and not for their reputation and to look good because they're standing in front of a fucking podium. Like, they're putting people in the middle of it. They're bringing people in. They're paying them to terrorize you and your communities. 11:11 on the timer. And then because there's certain individuals going and doing this, people are throwing shit at everyone else. I watched another video where someone from afar was saying about Canada allowing a lot of immigrants to come in, and you're getting a lot of ones that are here to create chaos, and it's making it hard for the ones who are not here to create chaos to live in a society with everybody else, because you're looking at the way a certain person looks or where they came from, and you're judging them on that. That's a part of terrorizing the people to become violent against them. Everyone who directly or indirectly collects property, provides or invites a person to provide or makes available property or financial or other related services. Okay? So your prime minister is funding wars. Only to make it, if it's to make himself look good. A lot of people say you can tell that he's not going to, he's not leaving without a fight, and it's creating a lot of chaos. And I'm not taking one side or the other right now. And I will say it, that's a reason why I don't vote, because I don't trust that they really want what's in the best interest of the people, because it shouldn't be a matter of waiting until you get into government, because you still have the power, but you choose not to use it. It's that part of the lip service. And the people are tired of lip service. The people are tired of being told, because they're acting in a manner that goes against the government. People aren't the ones doing the terrorizing. Do you notice that every time it comes to elections, a bunch of shit is banned? Because it's that wanting to be glorified, wanting to, oh, I'm your savior. They're not your savior. It's like, your RCMP, your police, your National Guard, anything to do with the ones that are supposed to be there to protect the people. Why are you not protecting the people? Seriously. What are these people holding over your head? Is it the money? Shouldn't your family be more important to you than fucking money? You go in and you interrupt peaceful protests, but you stand back when people are still spilling about inflicting violence. Seriously. And I really don't care who likes me. And I know there's good ones in the system. And sometimes they feel like their hands are tied. But they're only tied because you allow them to keep tied. Intending that they be used, okay, services intending that they be used, or knowing that they will be used in whole or in part for the purpose of facilitating or carrying out any terrorist activity or for the purpose of benefiting any person who is facilitating or carrying out such an activity. This is in the Criminal Code, section 8303. Or knowing that in whole or part they will be used by or will benefit a terrorist group. Right? Like a message to the government, the ones in charge. What the fuck are you doing? Seriously, protecting your family? Or did you throw them under the fucking bus like you threw everybody else because you wanted to make a name for yourself? You're making a name, all right. You know, they say when you do up a resume and you fucking lie on your resume, di sicurezza tu ritorniamo retto, tu risicrei. Yeah, Marietta means, from what I understood, it means our Lord cometh. You know, the way to finding peace, it's not about going out and fucking like war, because war never brings peace. Although they might say, "Oh yes, we're gonna," like war will bring peace. No, standing united will bring peace. Dropping your guns or your peckers or putting your, you know, guns away blazing, because it's not just a man doing it, it's women do it too. And then they get these people with shit piles of money to endorse them and back them up. You know, they say money talks, and that's why we're in the state that we are. Because they hold it over your head. They take away things out of your eyesight in hopes that you will forget about it. In the 80s, they had a viable cure for cancer, but big pharma wouldn't like pay any money. And it was talk about the government helping, but you know, what did they do? Sweep it back under the rug where the people can't see it and then shit on people like myself for bringing it forward and telling them, oh, you're crazy, you're delusional, you're a psychopath, you're psychotic. With all due respect, with none intended, because you deserve no respect, because you show no respect for the people that you say that you're there to help. Okay, I'll read that part again. Knowing that in whole or part they will be used by or will benefit a terrorist group is guilty of an indoctrinable offense and is liable to imprisonment for a term or more than a term of not more than 10 years. Well, I guess it should all depend on what you fucking did, right? You like to throw people in jail because they stole bread for their family because they had no fucking money to go buy in because you were too busy lining your fucking greedy pockets. I hear somebody talking to me about politics and the way the world is and stuff like that, but they wouldn't say shit if they had a fucking mouthful. And they call themselves a veteran. Not being rude. Do you know a true veteran is people who stand up with and for each other. Someone who takes that beating, who takes that ridicule, who takes that shaming, and just says, you only say it because they know what you're saying is true. Where I'm at, they have veteran kids. I'm going to say it, to me, a veteran is someone who's actually known the physical part. Who actually, like, I mean, they say, like, you're putting your life on your own on the line when you go out there. Whether you're directly on the front lines, are you losing your limbs? Are you losing your life? Because a lot of people lose their family members because they're told, oh, well, we have to do this. We have to go to war. No, the ones that like to play army and stick their dicks up in the air or their tits out. Don't like my language. I'm not, I was once told sometimes you gotta speak people's languages. And, like I said, my chin was not for the lighthearted. Using or possessing property for terrorist purposes. 8304, Section 8304 of the Criminal Code. Everyone who uses property directly or indirectly, in whole or in part, for the purpose of facilitating or carrying out a terrorist activity, or possesses property intending that it be used or knowing that it will be used directly or indirectly, in whole or in part, for the purpose of facilitating or carrying out a terrorist activity, is guilty of indoctrinable offense and liable for imprisonment for the term not more than 10 years. But like I said, listed weeks. So a lot of people don't have access to the criminal court. A lot of people they just say, just go meditate. Meditation helps to calm you down. But there's that time when you got to stand up and say, like, enough is enough. Okay, taking your shit long enough. Like, what should be happening when there's violence and they're saying about like inflicting violence on people or on different things. There's no room for violence. Although people might say, well, like, well, you know, most people have no interest in violence, and that's why a lot of people just run away and don't say shit if they have multiple, even though it's causing them harm because they're afraid of the backlash. To all of those who are impacted, feeling it, we're feeling a lot of what's going on. I wake up in the middle of the night and I start crying. I wake up in the middle of the night in a panic, unable to breathe. And it's not because of my own life. I'm not here to divide people. I'm here saying, like, seriously, part of waking up and seeing what's important, whether you have a rift going with your family or friends or what, nobody wants to talk. They just want to shoot and talk later. Some people say, oh, well, people just don't like to talk. No, that's because you don't have the right ones in there. Do I stand up? Oh, yeah, I mean, I do. Oh, I feel it, man. Like, I just feel the freaking energy just right out. Happened the other day at the mall when I got, it was like I had to get away from him because I was ready to freaking rip him a whole new one right in the middle of the store. But instead, I just, I mean, people could feel me, and I didn't have to say, get the fuck out of my way. You could feel it. Am I violent? No. Do I feel like I just want to, like, drive people through a wall sometimes? I'll be honest, yep. But most people have that experience sometimes. And they can say that they don't, but I'll tell you, you're fucking full of shit. We're in terrorism right now. Social media has turned to terrorism. Your news has turned to terrorism because all it shows is fear-based stuff. Keep everyone full of anxiety and fighting against one another until you find your heart and say, we see what you're doing. It's time to put them in the light that they don't want to be put in. And it's happening. But the only ones that are seeing it are the ones that are looking into it. Because, you look at your 5 o'clock news, your 6 o'clock news, your national news, stuff like that. What do? They show, like, what, a minute or two of something? Oh, well, that's all there is to it. The world that I see, it's like, wow, nobody's poor, nobody's homeless, nobody's freezing, nobody's fighting. And am I in a delusion? No. illusion is fighting, because, like I said, most people, they don't want fighting. But it's not about not standing up for yourself either. You have to bully. Sometimes you just can't show the passion to a bully. But you don't have to, like, it's like the first thing people go for is a physical weapon. I've actually used my voice many times, and I'm not talking that it was soft. Nunca me han cabeza, pulito primeiro. E a mãe dele, se tu olhar, se ela quiser, amo con el monita, e se tu olhar, we're rewriting history right. But are we going to rewrite history? And it helps the world as a whole. Changing the systems, because the systems never worked for you. It was more, it was a illusion. They make you sick, and then they say, well, you better come back to us because we're the ones that's going to make you better. We never make you really better. You know, I'll say about in biblical times, they said Noah, he lived to be 960 years old or something like that. And we only live a maximum of minimum, like most people to the age of 70. As far as seeing the ages in biblical times, do I believe that's possible? No. Because a lot of them, they were more connected than what we were talking. I was somewhere today, and I love going out and talking and being asked questions about things on here, like live. Just bring things forward. It's different when I'm standing and talking with people. Because I connect more on a one-on-one, whereas on here, like I connect and I end up getting so many things in my mouth. But a lot of the time, it all comes in at the same time, and there's ones in here that just want me to shut up. And like, what do you think that to me? When I see this stuff and I see people fighting over some things are like a part of sorting through it. But screaming all at the same time, nobody's hearing anything. And sometimes when you're talking in a calm voice with some people, they get very irate because you end up saying something that they don't want to say. Yes, to be honest, I just heard you get like that. Sometimes, yes, they do. But sometimes it's that I'm feeding off of other people too. So it's that part, like in a class on TV, they said two wrongs don't make it right. You're right, two wrongs don't make it right. But if you always have to pretend that you're always wrong just to make satisfy somebody else because they don't want to change their ways, then sometimes you gotta show them. That's why I would struggle working with somebody who felt that it was only their opinion. So like I have to work for myself. Or somebody who totally understands and will value my opinion or value what I bring forward to the table. And a lot of people in powerful positions, I don't want someone like myself going in telling them that, here, they didn't invent this shit. Especially if you're someone like myself who never graduated, had grade 8. I took a paralegal course. I got my certificate because I didn't pass Excel. I got a 65 in Excel and I needed a 70 and I didn't pass my typing. So I didn't get my certificate. Meanwhile, I had like an 83%. I have 83% in what it was that I was taking, paralegal procedures, everything that was important, but because I didn't get Excel right, or I didn't get my diploma. So a lot of people in power, because they have said to have high education and what have you, they look down on people like myself. Well, you're uneducated. I may be uneducated when it comes to books because I think for myself and I see for myself. I'm not saying that's wrong because, you get taught certain things, but, it's a part of maybe there's another way of looking at things that you just haven't tried yet because you're all centered on what a book says, opposed to the wisdom of it, the authenticity, somebody being able to see something from a different perspective. But like I said, a lot of people in power or in higher positions, they're like people like themselves. It's like the adaptation. Han See, people can terrorize each other too, but we all know that. It's not just um, people in power terrorizing the people, it's people are terrorizing each other. I like this. Don't stop believing. I actually sing this song when I'm doing karaoke. Yeah, a lot of us, especially as empaths, we're living in a lonely world. It's not because we don't want to be around people. It's just we have, it's we absorb others' feelings and others take from us. And then we have to go and hibernate, basically. Be in the woods, just be at home. And we do a lot of crying. We do a lot of crying even when we don't understand why we're crying. Right now, I feel an energy like, just set up that AI. Get the fuck off me. When I say spirit to spirit, spirit to spirit is heart to heart, and those hearts, those spirits, know who I'm speaking to. Like, I'll tell you right now, it's pretty sad when you're picking on a woman, on a girl, as you like to say. You're just a girl. Like, yeah, well, you're just an immature little boy, right? You don't look for the age. So, do I have temper tantrums? It's not so much a temper tantrum per se, as right now I feel something trying to get in my head. It's like, seriously? ということで、esta Sí, Tom, fíjate por él, que todo es. Sí que tú dices, yo le llamo Luis, like every attack that gets thrown on me, I'm just gonna, say, okay, if it helps you get through every day, I'm just gonna shift it and say thank you. Because it means that I'm saying things right. Because if it's irritating you, it's that part of something that, somebody's speaking truth somewhere. Let it read. It's, not about fighting with one another. It's about learning how to communicate and have a conversation with one another instead of downgrading each other and ridiculing. Sometimes I come on here and think like it's not to downgrade people, it's not to ridicule them. It's to say, have a look at your heart. Because this is what transpires and this is what continues to happen until you address that elephant in the room. And if it means that you end up with no one around you because you spoke up, then that's something that needs to be happening. I spend a lot of time with myself. I have people telling me that the reason people don't want to be around me is because of how I am. But I'm being honest, that's people that are close to me and say they love me that say that or do that. But strangers, I didn't make this woman cry. I just started, I was connected with her heart. Do I like being alone all the time? No, I don't like being alone all the time. But if I'm sitting alone, it means that I'm meant to be sitting alone for whatever reason. I know that I have a lot to offer the world, and so do you. It's a program that tells you and has other people trying to keep other people from succeeding because they're afraid themselves or they just don't want to put in the effort. Écoutez, please. C'est pas sure to me, families supposed to support each other, encourage each other to be able to get through it. It's like even if people hurt me, I tell them, you know, if you want better things for yourself, well, it's out there. But some just want to terrorize others and keep them in low vibration and blame them because I don't blame my family and stuff because I'm not getting it because I wasn't getting ahead. That was all me because, you know, I wouldn't look at my own shit and get rid of my own fucking money because I was too busy listening to what other people had to say about me. That, you know, you don't know my heart, do you? People that known me my whole life, they turned me away because we weren't like this. No, but I am now. Acceptance, where is it? I'm happy with who I am now because I can be genuine and authentic. I can go out and speak the languages as much as I want and do my energy dances. I'm not the one in the wrong. I'm the one trying to show people that, you know, authenticity, it irritates people. Because I know I used to feel the same way. It's that jealousy and the jealousy part. I have to laugh because I posted one of my pictures because I've taken it in the mirror. And somebody I knew, they said about my mirror being a slimming mirror. I bought my mirror for $12 at Walmart, and it wasn't it wasn't one of the slimming mirrors. I'm 120 pounds and I'm 5'6", between 5'6" and 5'7". So yeah, I'm pretty fucking thin. I don't need a slimming mirror, but I stay the size I am because I've changed my whole way of thinking, changed my diet, everything. And as far as eating, holy shit, man, the food I can pound back sometimes. I have a very high metabolism, and I have to sometimes I have to eat a lot to ground myself. I had a piece of cheesecake tonight. It was like that big. My ex-husband said, "That's a big piece." Seriously, man. I went to a church uh, dinner and they were bringing cake around. I don't really feel like sweets or cake around. And one women that are very connected into the church looked at me and called me skinny mini. You don't eat cake. Skinny mini. It's like, seriously? Fucking grow up. It's like, holy shit, people. That's a part of it. Like, you may not think, but that's terrorism. That's bullying. To hit somebody in their self-esteem, it goes to show how low your self-esteem is if you're going to pick on somebody else's size. That part, if you want to eat cake, go eat cake. Eat a whole fucking cake if you want. Bullying is terrorism. It's terrorizing people. And you can have it on a small scale. And right now around the world, it's happening on a much larger scale. We're being told to turn on other countries. I'll be honest, they are right. The West is extremely obese. And it's because of the stuff that's being put into food. It's because of the medication you're taking. Because most medications cause depression, cause weight gain, cause suicidal tendencies. And if you don't think I'm right, well, you might want to check again. Have a look at your family. What are they on? What are they experiencing? That's terrorism. Terrifying the people, causing fear into the people so that they have to run to them for something that, that's a temporary band-aid because it creates more havoc in your body. Fear causes havoc. War, because they create a stress and anxiety within the people. So it's a part of taking a stand on terrorism, standing up to it, not curling up in a ball and worried about what others are going to think because you finally spoke the truth and you spoke up for yourself, you spoke up for your family, and you taught your family how to speak up for themselves, and everybody started standing together. Systems that keep you divided into thinking that you have to vote for one person or the other. A lot of people know the definition of terrorism. Definition and history. Terrorism. The calculated use of violence to create a general climate of fear in a population and thereby to bring about a particular political objective. Yeah. Terrorism has been practiced by political organizations with both rightist and leftist objectives by national, nationalistic and religious groups, by revolutionaries, and even by state institutions such as armories, intelligence services, and police. And that's not like because they're supposed to be there to protect the people. And that's why I say some are just too quick to grab their gun or their taser and shoot. Shit. Get my definition of terrorism. Definitions of terrorism are usually complex and controversial. And because of the inherent ferocity and violence of terrorism, the term in its popular use has developed an intense stigma. It first coined in the 1790s to refer to the terror used during the French Revolution. Okay, my ancestors come over here in it was 1752 during the French Revolution to get away from the backlash of the religious stuff. That's why they left. By the revolutionaries against the opponents, the ones that had it more or less had a different belief, wanted peace, not war. The Jacobin party of Maximilian Robespierre carried out a regime of terror involving mass executions by the guillotine. Now, I have a paper here. Like, when I was doing my research, I found like a lot of people, the witch trials, people were being hung and burnt and ridiculed because they were connected. You know, you like to talk about Yeshua, Jesus. Well, you know, some people ain't gonna like me saying that, but you know, yes, you don't know the real message. Although terrorism in this usage implies an act of violence by a state against its domestic enemies, since the 20th century, the term has been applied most frequently to violence aimed either directly or indirectly at governments in an effort to influence policy or topple an existing regime. Okay? So the government will do it on people to have a specific outcome. Terrorism is not legally defined in all jurisdictions. Statutes that do exist, however, generally share some common elements. Terrorism involves the use or threat of violence and seeks to create fear not just within the direct victims, but among a wide audience. The degree of which it relies on fear distinguishes terrorism from both conventional and guerrilla warfare. Didn't tell you I could do well. Although conventional military forces invariably engage in psychological warfare. Okay, right now, there was an article, I believe it was in 2020 in The Guardian, with regards to the military creating an organization to use propaganda on the people. Okay? Psychological warfare against the enemy. Their political means of victory is strength of arms. Well, psychological warfare, right? People are standing up, right? So are they not seeing us as the enemy when we're not the enemy? We're actually standing up for our rights. You know, it's the bully system. They make you out like you're the bad person because you're standing up for yourself. When it's supposed to be them standing up for the people, but they're flipping it around. And there's a lot of people coming out of the military with horror stories, but they feel like they have to suppress themselves and not say anything when it's the system that created the mind fuck in the first place, created the fear, created the pain, not the people. And the people are the ones that are standing up, and then the systems are taking and they're putting in, their paid programs, their paid people. Gets me the principle in arms. Similarly, guerrilla forces, which often rely on acts of terror and other forms of propaganda, aim at military victory and occasionally succeed. The Gong in Vietnam and the Gomer Rug in Cambodia. Terrorism's terrorism proper is thus the calculated use of violence to generate fear, which that's what they're doing right now. They're causing fear within the people to make the people believe that they need the government to come in and save them, which the ones that were always already supposed to be taking action to stop it, if they're letting it go, you're actually committing terrorism on the people, and you're actually committing a crime against humanity because you're not stopping it. You're leaving it go, whether people want to believe that or not. People really need to say, let's try a different approach. But it's called learned behavior. How would you change that behavior? Terrorism calculated thereby to generate fear and thereby to achieve political goals when direct military victory is not possible. That's what they're doing. This has led some social scientists to refer to guerrilla warfare as the weapon of the weak and terrorism as the weapon of the weakest. To me, guerrilla psychological warfare. Okay, it's warfare on the psyche. Right? Okay? Spiritual warfare. Okay, they think of people as being weak individuals because they already have you programmed into believing that they are your savior. But in many different versions of the story of Yeshua, when they're doing movies and stuff like that, don't they have, isn't he going around just flipping tables? I took a picture at a church. They were playing case, there's some gambling, and people say, well, that's not really gambling. Yeah, it is. Have an actual fundraiser, something that it's not about somebody winning something and everybody cutting each other's throat because they want to fucking win it. In order to attract and maintain the publicity necessary to generate widespread fear, terrorists must engage in increasingly dramatic, violent, and high-profile acts. It's happening now. So why are we not allowed to have our government charged for terrorism? We are the people, right? You pay them. And I know that somebody's trying to cut me off right now. It's like, I mean, that's the point. I don't care because it goes to show that what I'm saying is true and true. Right? These have included hijackings, hostage taking, kidnappings, mass shootings. Mass shootings. Where I'm at, we had the 22 mass shooting of the 22 people. And it was said that he was a foreman. Yeah. You know, that created a lot of terrorism and fear. Because it was like, how did this man kill 22 fucking people and not be seen? You know, who's covering up what? Seriously. Innocent people died that day. And innocent people die every day because of this bullshit game playing, army playing that they like to play. You're supposed to be protecting the people. As that part, you know, the shoe fits, wear it. Massive shootings, car bombings, and frequent, frequently suicide bombings. Although apparently random, the victims and locations of terrorist attacks often are carefully selected for their shock value. So you think of people are saying up around Parliament or up around the White House or not White House, whatever it is in Canada. I don't like you're saying about what's going on there. Okay? It's like, do you see what's going on with your country? Why, like, it makes me ask, like, why are they going up against the parliament? Like, but right now, you know, to create war, they're trying to suppress elections because if there's a war going on, then you can't have an election. So that's what it says. So we'll wait for that yet. Although apparently, okay, selected for their shock value. Well, the mass shooting around here, 22 people, same vicinity, pretty much. That was a shock. Oh shit. Excuse me. I had to get my. Oh damn. Oh well, crap. Excuse me one sec, please. I'm trying to keep my phone from dying. Does that work? Oh yeah. Ha, I had 4% left. Okay. Although, where did I go? Although apparently random, schools, shopping centers, bus and train stations, restaurants, nightclubs have been targeted both because they attract large crowds and because they are places with which members of civilian population are familiar and which they feel at ease. No, it's not working. I might have to go off, or likes to cause problems. Okay. The goal of terrorism generally is to destroy the public's sense of security in the places most familiar to them. Major targets sometimes also include buildings or other locations that are important economic or political symbols, such as an embassy or military installations. The hope of the terrorists is that the sense of terror these attacks engender will induce the population to pressure political leaders toward a specific political end. But that works the same way as people. They're pushing and they're pushing to intimidate the people. And that's like the way things are right now. I don't see too many people benefiting from it. Something that was supposed to be put into place for the people is actually causing harm to the people. Some definitions treat all acts of terrorism, regardless of their political motivations, as simple criminal activity. For example, the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, defines both international and domestic terrorism as involving violent criminal acts. It's not just like, it's not always about violence. It can be so subtle, but so intense. The element of criminality, however, is problematic because it does not distinguish among different political and legal systems and thus cannot account for cases in which violent acts against the government may be legitimate. Okay, they keep saying about the government, they say about the government, and then you say like terrorism or treason on the queen and stuff like that. Where's the people's fucking protection? Why is it always terrorism on the government or treason on the queen? Like, this is fucking treason on the people. And not only is it treason on the people, but it's terrorism too. Every time you turn on the news, you're creating terrorism because it's to keep the people terrified. You need each other. It's not so much the system you need, but you need each other because you're who's going to get as individuals becoming one. You're going to get each other through it because I am you, you are me. And that's why I tell people, hurt me, you're only hurting yourself. I'm not going to throw shit back at you, but it does come back. It's like that boomerang effect. A frequently mentioned example is in the African National Congress, ANC, of South Africa, which committed violent actions against that country's apartheid government, but commanded more sympathy throughout the world. Another example is the Renaissance movement against the Nazi occupation of France during World War II. Okay? I don't follow that stuff. This is what I'm reading here. Since the 20th century, I will believe Trump when he puts his fucking money where his mouth is, like any other politician. Since the 20th century, ideology and political optimism have led a number of countries to engage in international terrorism, often under the guise of supporting movements of national liberation. Hence, it becomes a common saying that one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. Okay? You know, they say about people like wanting to take out these cell towers. They say it's terrorism, but I did a video the other day with regards to the cell towers. And it was an article that I was reading about a studio, Emory Studios in British Columbia, where they were next to Rogers. And Rogers ended up shutting down a portion of a part of their cell tower. And it took away the problem that the Emory Studio was experiencing. But instead of keeping it down, what did they do? Because they're such a billion-dollar corporation, they turned it back on and said, fuck the little man. You know, is your government not supposed to be protecting you? And then this is why people want to take these towers down, because they know the truth of them. And, you know, the ones that go in and say, oh, no, this ain't happening, they're fucking full of shit. Because it is happening. But, you know, their pockets are getting lined the same, right? Shh, here's some hush-hush money. Get your puri up there. The distinction between terrorism and other forms of political violence become blurred, particularly as guerrilla groups often employ terrorist tactics and issue a jurisdiction and legality where similar occur obscured. Okay? Well, just one sec, right? Right here. My my phone just died, and I have a tablet here that I dropped it one day. It busted the screen, all the crap, but I've had it for like 5 or 6 years now, maybe more. See if this will work. Thank you. Oh crap. Ok, allora insieme a queste due che dopo ti crea proprio che è sicura, ci vuole essere un Gotta hate when that happens. Okay. And this is at 17%. So kind of here. Mm. Eso lo que considera. Let's see if we can get this now. Sí que hemos leído. If you're still with me, thank you. They're, they're with me. I'm just getting my TikTok back up. Queremos ver. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes, like, if you're trying to work on your gadgets, like you're missing your gadgets, the touching and what have you, and it's not working for you, that's weird. And it's because you're kind of in your right body, so things aren't that working quite well. Sometimes it's like spirit. You see the never put the A. Still, yeah, it's like, here we go. Okay. Um, People have probably been noticing that your data and your internet and everything is messing up. Sometimes things are. Oh, oh, okay. Purita tayo, purita tayo. That was weird. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah. Where was everything is really slow right now. I mean, my tablet is quite slow. Te quiero sure que sí, later. Quiero comer. Sí, today. I don't know. Okay. Okay. To the ones on TikTok, sorry about that. My phone battery died on my phone, so now I have my tablet, and hopefully this won't go much farther. Um, Back to what I was reading, the distinction between terrorism and other forms of political violence, particularly as oh, particularly as many guerrilla groups often employ terrorist tactics in the jurisdiction. And okay, the problems have led some social scientists to adapt a definition of terrorism based on the criminality, but on the fact that the victims of terrorist violence are most often innocent civilians. Okay, that's the same as the like the military or like like chess. Okay, you have the king, the queen, and the bishops and the knights and all that. Like in the back, they put them in the back, and they put the people, and we end up being the ones killed. Meanwhile, the ones that are putting the people out on the front line as pawns, and people believe they're going to do do something for the country, but what you're actually doing a lot of the time is you're actually fighting to keep secrets from coming out within these systematic structures of whether it be the monarchy, like the crown, or whether it be the systems in your government, which most systems are affiliated with the government. Um, my, uh, my cell phone battery died. So sorry about that. Okay. Well, no, I'm not sorry about that. I had no control over that because I forgot to. Well, I did have control over it, but I guess I should have had everything prepared. But it should happen, right? Even this distinction is flexible. However, and on occasion, it has been expanded to include various other factors, such as that terrorist attacks are clandestine, clandestine, or suppressionist. I didn't pronounce that right. SURREPTITIOUS. And the terrorist acts are intended to create an overwhelming sense of fear. What is happening right now? Okay, your news, you're creating fear, are they not? Your government is creating fear within the people. When we had COVID and the vaccines, we were told that we were the problem. That if these people don't wear masks, or if they don't get the needle, or what have you. If you get the needle, fine. If you wear a mask, fine. But to like keep family members away, or say like it's your choice. But it's that part of we're destroying our own family unit because we're too busy listening to a system opposed to communicating with one another and realizing that you're responsible for your own safety. Somebody else isn't responsible for it in that sense. Okay? They were like you couldn't go on trips. You couldn't work. You'd lose your job. My sister got kicked out of a hospital because, me, when I took the mask, I hated the mask. I felt suffocating. Like it was itching my nose, and it was just like, so it's like, so I wouldn't go nowhere. But people will ridicule you for that. And it's like, I want to tell you, that's pure ignorance. And you can like me, hate me. I really don't give a shit. It's not judging you. It's saying how I feel about it. Because it's like we're already wearing masks. We're already being suffocated. And that was just to cause more division, more fear, because it played on people's paranoia. But what do I know? Lots. Overwhelming sense of fear. So they create a lot of information to cause fear within the masses. And then they say, oh, it's a mass hallucination. Because they created it, right? In the late 20th century, the term eco-terrorism was used to describe acts of environmental destruction committed in order to further a political goal or as an act of war, such as the burning of Korean oil wells by the Iraqi army during the Persian Gulf War. Okay. Environmental destruction. What are they doing right now? They're saying about the environment, are they not? They're saying about climate change. People, before oil, before all this other stuff, there was climate change. This is making like money. We're destroying the planet ourselves because of greed and ignorance and fear. Because we're living in fear because somebody else is telling you what's happening. Because, oh, well, they're the professionals. Climate change has been going on for thousands and thousands of years. You cannot stop it. You do not create it. It happens. Man-made stuff. Like when you're getting floods and stuff like that, think of it this way. How many fucking dams are breaking? Because of what they're doing by manipulating the weather and stuff like that. That's your climate change, and that's man-made. That's made and created from greed. And you know, right now I have that poem. It's like basically psychotic, I heard. You know, those are the ones that you look up to. Committed in order to further, okay, okay. The term also was applied to certain environmentally begin through criminal acts such as the sparking of lumber trees intended to disrupt or prevent activities allegedly harmful to the environment. You guys hearing this? Seriously. This is Britannica. You know, people don't like you using Wikipedia, but this is Britannica. Since the early 21st, the term stochastic terrorism, STOCHASTIC, terrorism, has been used to designate the repeated use of hate speech or other vilifying, dehumanizing rhetoric by a political leader or other public figure that inspires one or many of the figured supporters to commit hate crimes or other acts of violence against a targeted person, group, or community. Okay, we will say it. You have your prime minister going up and telling people, or sometimes even teachers, you're homophobic, you're this, you're that. What do you think that's doing? And people want to keep them there. I have to ask, are you part of it? Not being rude, but whose head do you whose ass do you have your head shoved up? Because stochastic terrorists, I told you I don't know how to pronounce that word. STOCHASTIC, terrorists do not supply their followers with any detailed plan of attack. The particular time and place of the eventual violence are unpredictable. Types of terrorism. Various attempts have been made to distinguish among types of terrorist attacks. It is vital to bear in mind, however, that there are many kinds of terrorist movements, and no single theory can cover them all. Not only are the aims, members, beliefs, and resources of groups engaged in terrorism extreme diverse, but so are the political contacts context of their campaigns. Cause fear within the people. So, oh, they'll want me, and they'll want me. That's why when somebody commented Trump 2024, I said, I will believe it when he puts it all where his mouth is. And he actually do what's right for the people. Didn't like me saying that? Yes, I really don't give a shit. Our popular topology identifies three broad classes of terrorism. Revolutionary, okay, if you look, everything that's happening now happened in World War I and World War II, just saying. Sub-revolutionary and establishment. Although this typology has been characterized slowly as inexhaustive, it provides a useful framework for understanding and evaluating terrorist attacks. Eso es lo que quiero. ¿Qué más tutorial? ¿Qué tutorial? Yes, I talk to my cat in that language. And me and my, it's like, it's good. Like, right there. Your cats are going to act strange. Your animals are going to act strange too. He's just a little, like, I love him though. Sometimes I tell him I'll bite your ear. Or sometimes I'll just like put him in the bathroom and close the door. Not all the way, just enough that, he knows that it's okay when you come back out once he calms down and then he'll go sit on something. Revolutionary terrorism is arguably the most common form. I say we're in a revolution right now, like everybody is protesting everything. Part of like the thing is, like somebody does to their own body, that's what they do. If you're talking about like if somebody's talking about abortion, okay, and the person like if they don't know or like when they know I was watching a thing before court and said about his partner at the time was 5 months pregnant and she went and had an abortion. He didn't want the baby aborted. And that's where those people need to come together and talk. It's supposed to be there to help people get through hard times and be able to talk them through. If the person has an abortion, it's really it's up to them. And if you throw shade on them, think of it this way: it's probably hard enough for those people to go through that. Revolutionary common form. Practitioners of this type of terrorism seek the complete abortion, obliteration, abolition of a political system and its replacement with new structures. Modern instances of such activity include campaigns by the Italian Red Berets, the German Red Army faction, Now I'm reading from Britannica. You do your research. The Basque separatist group, BTA, the Peruvian Shining Path, Cirio Luminosi, or Luminoso, and the ISIL, the Islamic State in Iraq, and the Levant. And I just felt that within my body. Also known as the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. Sorry if I don't pronounce this. I'm not sorry. I apologize if I'm not afraid of pronouncing this stuff right. IS. I say ISIS. Yes. Sub-revolutionary terrorism is rather less common. It is used not to overthrow an existing regime, but to modify the existing psychopolitical structure. Maybe I pronounced that wrong. Since this modification is often accomplished through the threat of disposing the existing regime, sub-revolutionary groups are somewhat more difficult to identify. An example can be seen in the ANC and its campaign to end apartheid in South Africa. Like I said, I apologize if I'm not saying correct. Apartheid. You're welcome. Establishment terrorism, often called state or state-sponsored terrorism, is employed by governments, and more often by fractions within governments against that government's civilians, against factions within the government, or against foreign governments or groups. When we say that they're sending money over, my TikTok's probably going to go again because my batteries are dying. It's like pretty significant, and I can't get it on my computer. Against governmental groups. This type of terrorism is very common, but difficult to identify, mainly because the state's support is always clash team. The Soviet Union and its allies engaged in widespread support of international terrorism during the Cold War. In the 1980s, the United States supported rebel groups in Africa and engagement in acts of terrorism, such as UNITA, United Union of the Total Independence of Angola, and various Muslim countries around this area, reportedly provided logistical and financial aid in Islam revolutionary groups engaged in campaigns against Israel, the United States, and some Muslim countries in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. I'm going to say it because it's like when you look in religion, always pointing fingers, but everybody has their hand in the dirty. military dictatorships in Brazil, 1964 to 85, Chile, 1973 to 90, and Argentina, 1976 to 83, committed acts of state terrorism against their own population. I don't want this to fade because I started doing something else there one day, and it crap. I don't like my new I don't like my cell phone because I hate when you try it, like it doesn't turn off normal, like you're alone would. Okay. Okay, against their own population. The violent police states of Joseph Stalin, Stalin, in the Soviet Union, and Saddam Hussein, Hussein, in Iraq are examples of countries in which one origin of the government, often either the exclusive branch, executive branch, or the intelligence establishment, engaged in widespread terror against not only the population, but also other organs of the government, including the military. Okay? See, I feel for people who go in the military because Remembrance Day is coming up. Okay? And my question is like they have months for different groups and what have you. And to me, Remembrance Day is said it's supposed to be like the people have risked their lives, put their lives in the line for people, but they get one day. But other stuff gets a month or what have you. Because I'll tell you right now, your veterans, they should be getting the most time. And they should be getting the respect that they're earned and due. Because they're the ones that's really out there. It's not about fighting over what your sex is or your gender or what your religion is or anything. Because they're fighting to stop all this nonsense. And I do say nonsense, and some people may get offended because it's like, it's your systems that keep it going. And people don't like what I said about that, well, that's too bad. Because I'll tell you right now, I always see myself as being bisexual because I was attracted to both men and women until I realized that it's not the gender, it's the spirit that I recognize. Precedent element of all forms of established terrorism, unlike that of non-state terrorism, is that of sensory, or sorry, SECRECY. Secrecy, yeah, secrecy. Is that of secrecy? Thank you. States invaluably, yes, I did hear you. States invaluably seek to disavoid their active capacity in such acts, both to invade international censure and to avoid political and military retribution by those they target. Meaning they want to hurt you, but they don't want to take the backlash, so they point fingers at other people as how I'm taking it. Because that's what Oh no, it was them. It was every fucking one of you. You all got, like, I'm not talking to people, I'm talking about the system. You all got fucking blood on your hands. You just like to hide it well, right? Okay. Yeah. It's like, let's try this now. Okay. My tablet's gonna die, so I'm switching over on TikTok. I'm switching over to my tablet. I know it's like, man, you're all over the place. Ah, it's so shocking. I was just to tell my oldest son, dude, like we always said, like there's Chucky, like Chucky reminds me of Chucky. He does. Just the way he used to go like this. Okay, I'm flipping over onto my on my cell phone. So if you're on TikTok and you want to come back, I will be back in just a moment. Well, oh, there we go. Okay. Sure with that. Just flipping back over to my TikTok. If you're coming into my channel, I usually suggest that directly that people go and read the description on my YouTube channel, Spirit to Spirit Teachers Go with Itself, to get a better understanding of what my channel is about. Okay? Today I'm talking about taking a stand on terrorism. Okay, history. Terror has been practiced by state and non-state actors throughout history and throughout the world. The ancient Greek historian Ex, Xenophon, Xenophon history, and throughout the world. The ancient Greek is, oh, yeah, okay, sorry, historian EX or Xenophon C 431 to C 350 BCE wrote of the effectiveness of psychological warfare against enemy populations. Roman empires such as Tiberius reigned 14 to 37 CE, and Caligula reigned 37 to 41 CE, used banishment, exploitation of property, and execution as means to discourage oppositions to their rule. Okay? This is the history of it. They've been using psychological warfare on the people. Are you awake yet? That's why, like, I'm going to say it, they use frequencies and they use it through your machines because I know, like, they've switched the frequency in my gadgets because I can feel it. It's like it's like your aim. It's aimed right here. Okay, that's in the eye. It's to keep you. It keeps you sleeping. It keeps you from being able to connect. Yeah, and as I'm reading this, I'm looking down and there's a picture and they have a cross being burnt in the KKKs. The most commonly cited example of early terror, however, is the activity of the Jewish zealots, often known as the Zakir Hebrew daggers, who engaged in frequent violent attacks on fellow Hebrews suspected of collusion with the Roman authorities. Likewise, the use of terror was openly advocated by Robespierre, Robespierre, during the French Revolution and the Spanish Inquisition, used arbitrary arrest, torture, and execution to punish what it viewed as religious heresy. So my family and many of her family left, or they immigrated. And when they got here, especially like the ones that come from Nova Scotia, George's Island, they were taken there, and they were prisoners, everything like that, and they were skinned, tortured. They were, after the American Civil War, 1861 to 65. So you're like, this is it, kind of history because my ex-husband's niece, I guess, she's a history teacher. And I know that because I wasn't a history or anything like that, I was looked down upon. Don't admit it, and that's okay. The Southerners formed the Yeah, it says Southerners formed the Ku Klux Klan. That's why I was seeing that to intimidate supporters of Reconstruction, 1865 to 77, and the newly freed former slaves. In the latter half of the 19th century, terror was adopted in Western Europe, Russia, and the United States by adherents of anarchism, 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 who believed that the best way to effect revolutionary political and social change was to assassinate persons in positions of power. What happened to Lincoln? What happened to uh, JFK and many others? Because they were trying to bring about positive change. They were going to let everybody know, and people say, "Oh, what you're talking about aliens and stuff." You're fucking right, because they were going to bring that because it's everybody becoming a civilization. It's a galactic. Whether you want to believe that or not, what the frick are you watching these alien movies for and stuff like that? You have some sort of, and you're already with your enemies. And I feel that. And I said, you should back at you. But you wanna feel like you just wanna rip me apart or rip my heart out because I know you're trying to squeeze the fucking shit out of my heart. No, not psychotic, just very connected. Yes, she urged you. Assassinate persons in positions of power. From 1865 to 1905, a number of kings, presidents, prime ministers, and other government officials were killed by anarchists, guns, or bombs. Anyone who they feel to be a threat, they say it's national security. No, it's not national security. It's what the people should know. You just don't want them to know because you're the problem. The 20th century witnessed great changes in the use of practice of terror. You know, get people to do what you want them to do, just cause terror on them, and then they'll beg, "Oh, please help us! Please help us!" Seriously, fucking help each other. It became the hallmark of a number of political movements stretching from the extreme right to the extreme left of the political spectrum. It's saying both. Technical, technological advances such as atomic weapons and compact, electrically denoted explosives gave terrorists a new mobility of length, length, lengthity, and the growth of air travel provided new methods and opportunities. Do you think this stuff was brought about for your well-being? So they could play their games. They put like you have kids and it's cops and robbers and cowboys and Indians, and they're putting friends against friends, family against family, brother against brother, sister against sister, brother against sister, sister. Like, do you not see it? That's what I say. Yeah, okay, but it's a harder. Is he putting on a show? Hey, told you, I don't have a lot of respect for political stuff because I don't see where it's really helping the people a lot because you're actually getting more money than what you receive. You're experiencing more destruction than. Do you know Trump? I'm not being rude. You love Trump. Do you know him? And I know it's my friend, but you love him from what you've like seen. But everybody has a back door. I'm exposing my back door. I hope he does what he says that he's going to do. Oh yeah, I will agree. My ex-husband tried to get me a number like this each time to vote, like tell me how to vote. He even told me that you got no say, you don't vote. Well, that's what makes it so that I have say because I don't give my say to somebody else. You just feel you have to because it's another system put in there that people have to live by because of what I'm talking about right now. I will agree, Trump says some good things, draining the swamp. I know there's another swamp that they're trying to drain because they're looking for something. But I'll tell them right now, we need to find it. Spirit ain't gonna let you. Air travel provided new methods of opportunity. Terrorism was virtually an official policy in totalitarian states such as those by Nazi Germany under Adolf Hitler, okay? And the Soviet Union under Stalin. In these states, arrest, imprisonment, torture, and execution is carried out without legal guidance or restraints, restraints, restraints to create a climate of fear and to encourage enhancements to the national ideology and declare economic, social, and political goals of the states. They use this to keep you feeling like they are your saviors. Oh, I believe that he's going to clean some shit up. I believe that. I'm not saying that he's like it's that part of, they can show you something on the front, but what are they doing behind your back? Terror has been used by one or both sides in anti-colonial conflicts. I've said it's both sides. They're all doing it to each other, and they're putting the people in the middle of it. They know what they're doing. Just don't use your mind. Use your heart. Be able to feel them. Like I did a small video earlier today, and I said, like, I even watched an interview between Putin and that Tucker Carlson, and I could feel with my heart when Putin was being honest and genuine, but I could also tell when he was almost trying to be deceitful. When, okay, like I said, I don't want to just hear words and a bit of like love bombing from the government. It's that part of, doing what you say you're going to do and holding to it. Terror has been used by one or both sides of any colonial conflicts, those between Ireland and the United Kingdom. My ancestors are both are from Ireland, United Kingdom. It's Scots Ireland, and this is what I'm saying. We're doing it to each other, but it's that part that keeps the people blinded to it. I said it before. My seventh great granddaddy was scalped during Cornwallis, and in that time there were 5 people, and I was getting that the the night that he was scalped, they were trying to protect people. In the United Kingdom, between Algeria and France, and between Vietnam and France and the United States, in disputes between different national groups over possession of a contested homeland, that between Palestinians and Israelis, conflicts between different religious dominations, between Roman Catholic and Protestants, Northern Ireland, and in international conflicts between revolutionary forces and established governments, those within the censorship states of the former Yugoslavia, or Yugoslavia, Indonesia, the Philippines, Nigeria, El Salvador, El Salvador, and Peru. In the late 20th century and early 21st centuries, some of the most extreme and destructive organizations that engaged in terrorism possessed a fundamentalist religious ideology. Hamas and Al Qaeda, some groups, including the Liberation Tigers of Somalia, Alamein, and Hamas, adapted the tactic of suicide bombing, in which predators, Preprators. I am reading stuff, okay? And I see a lot of people on here that read stuff too. And a lot of time they're reading from the Bible, and some are reading from other things. Would attempt to destroy an important economic, military, political, or symbolic target by denoting a detonating, detonating. Shit, man. No, I need to go back to school because school didn't teach me how to freaking read. Target by detonating a bomb on their person. The latter half of the 20th century, the most prominent groups using terrorist tactics were the Red Army faction, the Japanese Red Army, the Red Berets, or brigades, the Puerto Rican FALAN, FAF, FATAH, and other groups related to the Palestine Liberation Organization's PLO, the Shining Path and Liberation Tigers. The most prominent groups in the early 21st century were Al Qaeda, the Taliban, and insurgency insurgencies in Afghanistan and ISIL or ISII. You know, when I bring this stuff forward, it's because Spirit brings it to me because it's something that needs to be addressed because we're seeing so much happening in the world and everybody's pointing fingers. Exactly, Shannon. Everybody believes in God in their own way. And no one way is the right way because we're all the right way because it's what fits for you. But it's, when people say, oh, I'm killing in the name of Jesus, no, he's not, well, not the Jesus I know, so ti secreto tu prietai, you know. Well, I said before, it's like, is Jesus and Yeshua even the same person, or were they actually twins? And that's why Jesus couldn't do anything for his people? Sure. It's a question I'm allowed to ask it. If you're getting your nose out of joint about it, maybe I'm allowed, maybe there's some truth to it. Who knows? Only they know, right? Okay. In the late 20th century, the United States suffered several acts of terrorist violence by Puerto Rican nationalists, such as the FAL or FALN, anti-abortion groups. I spoke about that earlier, and foreign-based organizations. The 1990s witnessed some of the deadliest attacks on American soil, including the bombing of the World Trade Center in New York City in 1993 and the Oklahoma City bombing 2 years later, which killed 168 people. And I know there's a lot of suspicions about the World Trade Center, what was said about that, and what have you. And it's a very good possibility because a lot of records went missing at that time. Okay, so this is the stuff that people need to really see that, it's not about putting your faith in a system. It's putting your faith in yourself to be able to use your own discernment. And when they're trying to separate people, it's because they don't want people collaborating. They keep you from being able to communicate with one another, and that's why there's probably so much interference within the systems. Because there's times, I would, like when you paid for your phone, you were supposed to free texting and voice messaging, like calling and everything like that. But it seems like you have to have fucking data in order to do that. Like, seriously, man? Dito tutto vestito por essere che si non fare. You ain't for the fucking pocketbook? Get it for that. Yeah. Whatever's trying to jump on me, get the fuck off. $168 people. In addition, there were several major terrorist attacks on U.S. government targets overseas, including military bases in Saudi Arabia. Okay, back in like 2020 or 2021, I took a picture of the sky and what it looked like. It looked like a bunch of ships and tanks and subs and stuff like that. And I kept saying, and I even told somebody that it was like I was seeing a war. And got like I was getting like at that time I was getting the Red Sea and stuff like that, and I know fucking nothing about geography. But people say, "Oh, you're not psychic. We're all psychic. You're just not fully aware that that's what's happening to you because you're told, oh, don't tell anyone that you're experiencing that because they may say you're crazy and put you in a psychiatric unit. Oh, wait, then they'll diagnose you with psychosis or schizophrenia or multiple personality disorders or bipolar, manic depressive. You know, gotta put a label on it, right? They're causing your problems. But what do I know? I'm just someone that experienced it. Oh, wait, I have no scientific proof. That's what my ex-husband told me. Well, your experience is where's your scientific proof? Go fuck yourself. There's your scientific proof. It's not directed towards the people. So, I said this is a heart to heart, spirit to spirit, and those ones know who I am talking to. Overseas, including military bases in Saudi Arabia. 1996, on the U.S. embassies in Kenya, and Tanzania, 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 1998. In 2000, an explosion triggered by suicide bombers caused the deaths of 17 sailors aboard a U.S. Navy ship, the USS Cole, in the Uman port of Adi. Okay, see, this here is not to cause division or anything like that. It's saying, before we start pointing fingers, keep things going. It's that part of really know that everybody had a hand in it, and they all got blood on their hands. They can point fingers at one another all they want. But the only reason why they keep pointing back at each other, they forget that those other ones are pointing back at them. You're right, it's true. The deadliest terrorist strikes to date were the September 11th attacks. And a lot of people believe that that was a government inside job type thing, trying to get rid of records. Well, I'll tell you again. I read my sixth grade granddaddy's will, and when I went back to check things, to get some more stuff, get some stuff, the government had taken it off the website, and that had to do with land. The day as September 11th attacks, in which suicide terrorists associated with Al Qaeda hijacked four commercial airplanes, crashing two of them into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center complex in New York City, and the third into the Pentagon building near Washington, D.C. The fourth plane crashed near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Okay. So the World Trade Center, the tower, okay, and it's at the Pentagon, okay. Now, when they had the 9/11, wasn't there another building that went down? No, I know. No, it wasn't the Pentagon. It was was the Trade Center, and then there was another place down the road from there that, because it never got hit, but it went down the same time that the World Trade Center went down. But they didn't mention that in here. Why? Because as far as I know, like, that had a lot of records in there. Expansion. The crashes destroyed much of the World Trade Center complex and a huge portion of one side of the Pentagon and killed more than 3,000 people. Terrorism appears to be an enduring feature of political life. Even prior to September 11th attacks, there were widespread concern that terrorists might escalate their destructive power to vastly greater proportions of using weapons of mass destruction, including nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare. Biological, they're sticking in the arm, chemical warfare. Read up about Ricken. Ricken is the beans of, comes from the beans of the castor oil plant. Very poisonous. And I read that terrorists they will use it as a terrorist attack because they put it in there, and on there it says about your clothing. Exactly all it, when I read about it, it said to, like, if you feel you had Ricken for it, like Ricken, you're exposed to Ricken, it said go home, take off all your clothes, do not touch them, put them in a plastic bag. What were they saying? What were they saying during COVID? They shut everything down. You're told to put these masks on. Do you think they couldn't put that in the mask when you're breathing it in? It gets in the air, like a vapor. It's a chemical. But see, the simplest thing would not think of that. I think that's the chemical that's going in the air. There's chemical going in. You can get coffee and everything like that. Go read it. I'm serious. Go read about Ricken. I'll learn something. They say biological. Well, biological is sticking something in you, and they use this as a warfare. As the power to vastly greater populations by using weapons of mass destruction, including nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons. As did the Chinese doomsday cult, AUM Shirankyo, you know what I'm saying, which released nerve gas into a Tokyo subway in 1995. Your chemicals that are getting sprayed, they call it pesticides. They can put it on your food too, Ricken. They spray it on your food, so seriously, what's in your pesticides? Why is this stuff dying? Well, maybe because it's. Not only is it poison to what gets they're spraying to get rid of, but it's going on that plant. Seriously, read up about Rick. And maybe there's a lot of mysterious deaths due to Rick. Get the career. That was the darker side, Jesus. Because that goes back. See, the doctors just no real way of treating it, but the doctors need to be made aware of this because there's vitamins that need to be put back into the body. I know I just got off on a different part, but that's okay. Go read it. Like, I don't hold anything against somebody who didn't get the jab or did get the jab. Okay, because it's not just going in the jab. It's what I just said. It's on your food. It can go in your water. It can go in your air. It's not just the needle. That wasn't to cause fear with people. I'm saying, that may be a starting point. These fears were intensified after September 11th when a number of letters contaminated by anthrax were delivered to political leaders and journalists in the United States, leading to several deaths. Why was this not reported? What? How we don't cause fear? Seriously? So you want to cause fear, you don't want to bring forward truth. Leading to several deaths. U.S. President George W. Bush made a board, War Against Terrorism, the centerpiece of U.S. foreign policy at the beginning of the 21st century. Okay. More money, right? War against terrorism. They create the problem and then they say they need the money for it because they need to keep the facade going. I'm pretty sure I know who this the with my seventh great granddaddy. I'm almost certain I know where he stood within the community because I watched the movie Frozen too. You could say, "Oh, that's a memory." No, it's actually telling you something. How did the war start? The other side killed the other person that was on was standing up for someone. And because they were afraid of magic. Because magic would make people think, oh, well, you're too powerful. This is weapons of mass destruction. We all have these abilities. Okay? It's like, think of Superman. Yes, I am. And if you don't like it, well, you came in my challenge, you can go back up the same way you came in. But Superman, he had powers, right? He had abilities. But when Lex Luthor or whoever it was that would put what they call kryptonite, which kryptonite represented heavy metals, You get in your body. You gotta eliminate it. You gotta get out of your body. You gotta get all of your past things that you're holding on to, getting it out of the body. Because the verbal goes in as much as all the other shit does. Except the verbal plays on the mind more, so that's what we use psychologically work out. And that's what we're doing right now. That's why I've learned to move through life connected to both my head and my heart, but letting my heart lead the way. Because my heart is the empathic part. My ego is what protects me. And the ego is what can actually keep you from moving forward. Because maybe it's afraid of its own shadow. Crap. Grandpa! Sit down. It's all good. Because it's not needing as much protection as we were led to believe. Because the ones that tell us we need protection, they're usually the ones that you need the protection. Oh, well, oh, okay. That was all of it. So I guess that worked out well. Okay. So I felt the need to kind of talk about that because, well, not like because it was the election, but you're seeing a lot of different things. And it's that part of now knowing that like terrorism just isn't in so much the system as we terrorize each other. And that's where it becomes the bully system and everybody and a lot of people become bullied. And it's maybe they're not even aware of it because to them it doesn't seem like being a bully as it was a learned behavior. And keeping terrorism war and everything going. And people might say, oh, you're just bleeding heart. Because my ex-husband, he says about bleeding hearts. The bleeding hearts are the ones that are dying. Their hearts are bleeding, and their family's hearts are bleeding with them. And you call a person a bleeding heart because they're standing up for themselves. And these people that say that about bleeding hearts, it's that part of I hear what you say, only you don't stand up and do anything about it or speak up about the elephant in the room and try to shut others up. Do for fear you may get backlash off that. I got to the point now, I don't care if people like me. I didn't then either. But then I became weak, and it was that part of wondering, well, why don't people like me? And then it's, you don't have to. But sometimes it's, you know, too many people go by first impressions and they quick judge. And it's not about taking someone's word always as being gospel. As a smooth talker, so I said about like people that say about IQ, they have high IQs and they're able to manipulate people. I was heard, what are you doing? Well, I'm not manipulating you. I'm telling you my story and what I think of the world. I don't tell people come to my channel. I don't look for followers because I don't care. I could have had an agent and I might have had a lot more followers and I might have been bringing in some money. But that's not what I'm here for. I know that what I'm meant to be doing, I'll end up doing it. But right now, I'm doing what I need to do until I get to where that world is. So we say about sovereign beings and freedom. First, you got to free yourself from the mind fuck that they say you have to believe. Chi si può essere che tu riesci, no? Questo è tutto Dio. Chiamiamolo come interesse. What we obtain to cheat, we esteem too lightly. It is dearness only that gives everything its value to us. Appreciation, gratitude. Speaking of what they have to be cordial, to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children. Okay, I'll finish in a minute, but okay, the part where, okay, to laugh often and much, and then it says to win the respect of intelligent people. Okay, my personality or being myself should be what they see to be respected. It's like I don't need to go out and win anything. Okay, and the affection of children to leave the world a better place, to know even one life has breathed easier because of you. This is to have succeeded. that being said, I'm sending you all much love, light, many blessings, 444 or 4844 on the timer. Sending you all much love, light, many blessings, most importantly, very good health to anyone and everyone wanting, willing to receive and accept. I want you all to be big, bold, brave. Most importantly, be yourself. Be your authentic self. Be true to yourself. Be true to others. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. And know that you have more strength than you can comprehend at times. They said that the other way. And what I say, Ashola Katis, the Kiarani, the Korean, Settori Ketare at Instagram, Tori Shalakis, Settore, always. God bless.